If you want abs, you don't necessarily have to do that. That's taking it to the extreme. That's something if you like want to challenge yourself, you want some good content to catch eyes, like you guys just started watching this video because you saw that intense core session. I'm gonna actually show you 4 exercises that build my core, right? I don't do thousands of reps. I do maybe 100 to 150 reps each ab session, or you can say core session. But let me remind you, the core is the foundation of your body. So you don't want to just have abs. Of course, abs are made in the kitchen, but you got to train them. If you want them to look like what they call like bread rolls, they want to rise, like these are muscles, right? You can have a slim core just from eating healthy, but if you want to build them up, make them look strong, follow these 4 movements that I'm about to show you. So the first exercise for me, I do this almost every training session, is decline sit-ups. Not crunches. Yeah, crunches work, but the sit-ups make the core go crazy, right? Just by lengthening the muscles every time you come down and coming back up, it's gonna give you a lot more range of motion, and actually is gonna help you put more stress on your core while you're doing this exercise. So if you guys are not familiar with a decline crunch, this is a decline bench, okay? Now, here's the thing. You have levels to this. You don't have to necessarily start from the highest or the highest decline, right? You have this level where you can go down, right? If you're a beginner, you can go up. Oh, it's a little bit heavy. You can start here. You gradually work your way up to the highest point. Now, I'll be honest with you. I don't always do weight anymore. Like I built my abs where they're pretty shaped, right? But if I want to stay strong, this is the start. But I also show you a variation where you can add weight to this exercise to make it even harder. Some simple cues for this exercise. When you're doing a decline sit-up, okay, you want to make sure you're not pulling with the front of your feet, right? Whenever you do a sit-up, you don't want to pull with the front. Even though it has support here, you want to pull with your heels in the back, letting your momentum come from, not really momentum, but I'm going to say your support coming from the back side, okay? When you pull, it's not really going to contract your abs. So as you pull with the heel, you're squeezing your glutes, right, which is gonna squeeze your core. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but I'm gonna show you in some of these details so you can see it. And then when you come up, right, you wanna come up to contract the abs, and you come all the way down to lengthen them. You guys remember me always talking about the full range of motion. You wanna come to the part where your body, where your core rests a little bit. Not rest as in like you take a complete break and lay down there, but you wanna lengthen them to come back up to make sure you get full range of motion. Yes, this exercise is majority for the upper abs, but you're gonna get some lower engagement as well. Now, when it comes to the weighted decline sit-up, this is no longer a beginner exercise. This is now an advanced movement that's really gonna challenge you, right? You can use different things like dumbbells, you can use a plate, but for me, I like the barbell. It's pretty stable. You're also gonna get some shoulder work in. But one of the things I want you guys to take note of while you're doing this mod up, this is a modification to progress, right? This is not going down, this is to make it harder. You wanna keep this barbell over your face, right? You don't wanna come down, swing it back. No, when you come down each time, it's over your chest, and when you come up, it's over your head, all right? And you gotta keep that control throughout the entire movement because this is gonna challenge you each time you go all the way down and come back up. You might even feel it in your shoulders a little bit more if you have weak stabilizers in your shoulders. So this is one of my favorites. I go to this one, like I said, almost every time I train. I'm going with a little bit of weight just so I can keep my core strong, but also keep those bread rolls that you guys have been asking about. All right, that's number 1. Let's move on to number 2. When it comes to building the lower core, this has been my staple for many years. The captain chair leg raise. Now, the reason I like this machine is because, yeah, you can swing, but you have back support. this also gives you a little bit of an isometric hold. So if you can't hold your body weight, when you do the captain's chair, it's gonna be hard. So if you can't do it, you really should start on the floor. But this one right here, straight leg raises. You can even bend your knees if you're a starter. You can't get your legs straight, but one of the things that you want to make sure you do is get your feet past 90 degrees. This is gonna engage your upper core as well. So not just 90, right? And not with momentum, you just wanna force your legs to come up. You're also gonna feel this in your hip flexors. But as you get stronger, you can then do a mod up and add weight. And every time you add weight, it's gonna help you build more muscle. Now, when you do add weight, you wanna put this dumbbell in between like your ankles, close to your ankles where your foot, and really like hold it. It doesn't have to be heavy. You can start with 5 pounds. Me personally, I don't go more than 15 pounds, right? It's just about control. It's about the eccentric plus the concentric, which is gonna be more of the harder part as controlling it when you come down so that you don't use momentum to swing when you come back up. That's number 2, simple as it is. Captain's chair, leg raises, and I know all of you have this machine at your gym. Let's move on to number 3. Number 3, you guys know I had to give you an isometric movement. You guys see me do isotonic movement, which is mean I'm actually moving and contracting. Isometric means you're gonna hold that position and contract, or say clench your abs the entire time, which is pretty tough. So I've been doing this side plank with the reach through. Side plank is hard enough, right? But just adding the plank in there changes up your variations of training. So I believe you should do both, isometric and isotonic. So the side plank reach through, I mean, what I want you to focus on this exercise is making sure you keep your hips up. This is not an easy exercise. And if you see me doing the reach through, where you see me pulling the dumbbell down, I'm actually making sure I don't twist my body that much. I'm trying to just pull my arm down and bring it to the top without too much movement, because I already have to keep my hips up without dropping them. So that's one of the things when you do the side plank. If you're not good at it, start with the basic, just holding. But once you get good at these, you wanna do them for I go for a minute on each side, right? Minute on each side, or you can count the reach throughs by maybe 20 to 25 reps, and then switch sides to make sure you get both of the obliques equally. Now, when I do switch it, right, because I don't always like to do the isometric move, I do side crunches. Side crunches is actually my favorite, right? Because it's just like something about the crunch when you bring the knee up and contract, you can feel it a little bit more. Like when you get up, you can actually see how your muscles contracted. Even though planks is, I think, by far much harder, crunches is always my favorite when it comes to the side crunch, because it's kind of like I can just get that burning sensation out of it by getting at least 25, 30 reps on each side. I haven't talked about this much, but all of these exercises, you should be aiming for at least 20 reps of each, okay? If you can't do 20 reps, start with 10 reps, start with 15. Build yourself up. I would do 3 sets of 20 of each. And now if you count that out, right, all 4 of these exercises, you can pick 2 or you can pick 3, and you get 20 out of each set, you're already at 120, 150 without doing 1,000, right? It doesn't take 1,000 to get abs. So this is number 3. Choose whichever variation you want, switch it up, make sure you keep it fresh. Before I move on to number 4, I wanted to tell you guys, right, when I used to train back in the day, I was always hitting weighted oblique exercises. And as an athlete, yeah, I wanted strong obliques because I wanted to build them. I played football, I was taking hits. You never knew, when you're gonna get, I was a quarterback, or just any position in particular, you never know you're gonna get hit from the side. So now that I'm training for more of a physique look, we don't train weighted obliques as much because you don't want them bulky. You want more of the taper waist, and the obliques will give you more of the boxy look, which is still, some of us still have the same construction to have a boxy look. So regardless, take in mind that when you're training your obliques, try not to put as much weight on them so that the sides don't grow, unless that's what you're looking for. All right, just want to remind you. Guys, number 4, the full ab, right? Upper, lower, mostly, right? Not really the obliques, but if I'm in a rush for time, I'm doing these 2 exercises almost every time I go to the gym, right? These are my favorites for sure. So first we're gonna start off with the Garhammers, all right? This is like my staple movement, right? The reason it's so hard is because, yeah, you getting the full ab, and when you contract all of it together, you already know if you do abs, like seriously, you sweating within the first 10 reps. The reverse Garhammer is good because, like I said, it's contracting the entire core. And one of the things about this is whenever you come up from that decline position and bring your legs up, when you come down without momentum, it's even harder. Let me tell you guys a few things about this exercise. Now, to do this exercise, the first thing you want to do is find a comfortable position on a decline bench. Yeah, you have this part here, right, where you can grab. Some benches actually have a pole where you can hold it, which is a lot better than just this part. Now, when you do this, you want to lay all the way down, right? You want this decline pretty much at its lowest position, right? You can do it flatter, it's a little bit easier, but I'm going for more stress. I don't want 1,000 reps. I want it to be hard in my first 15 to 20 reps. Now, when you come all the way up, you want to kick your feet up, right? Sometimes the Garhammer is just bringing your knees to your elbows, which is perfectly fine. But I always bring mine up just to get a little bit more contraction of the upper abs. Now, I already get the contraction from the lower abs when you first lift your legs. That's where the lower abs come into play. And when you come back down, it's the same format. You come back down, kind of bending your knees, and then you straighten them back out, right? You have the option. You can bend your knees up or you can straighten them up. The variation, that's up to you. But regardless, either way, it's gonna be difficult. But like I said, make sure you get full range of motion, don't use momentum, and do as many as you can without taking a break. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with this, but the Jackknife is also one of my favorites. If I don't have time, like I said, I'm going straight to these, and I'll do maybe 4 sets of 25. 4 sets of 25, which is gonna get me to 100. Now with these, it's very simple. You can use a dumbbell or a plate. I recommend either or, right? The dumbbell, I mean, I feel like it's a little bit better, but even a plate is fine. What you wanna do for this one is make sure you get that stretch, like always, right? You're gonna lay flat as you can again. Now I don't mean touch the ground. Keep that tension on your core by not putting your legs or arms on the ground, but you wanna get the stretch to where it's hard to get back up, right? One of the things I want you guys to focus on this exercise is really bringing your legs up. I'm gonna say 75% and getting that crunch 25%, right? Jackknife is not a sit-up. It's a crunch and the leg raise together. Now, some people do bring the knees, that's also a jackknife, but the straight legs, like I said, is much harder than a knee raise. So for this one, it's also a tempo thing. Make sure you come down slow. You can come up explosive or you can come up slow, right? The slower it is, the harder it is. If you just get used to doing fast movements, yes, it's great for fast twitch, but you also want to get some slower movements to slow down the muscles so they can burn a little bit more. So mix it up, but like I said, if you need something to hurry, this is my go-to. All right, so that's it. Like I said, you came here to get a core still. This is where it starts. These 4 movements, a little bit like 6, but you know what I mean. Like these 4 things, I always do, whether it's the upper abs, lower, the obliques, or just a full core in one setting. So guys, save this video, try it. Take a picture of your abs before you start and after you start. And please don't forget, if you're just doing these ab exercises and not dieting, you're not gonna see your core, because it does start in the kitchen, but you build them right here with these type of exercises. So like I said, guys, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do. Share these with a friend and keep coming back. Are you here with the Muscle Chef, AKA the overall fitness junkie, Josh Bailey? He coming back because I'm gonna keep giving you exercises that's gonna help you look the part. All right, see you next time.